Hi, I'm Kiwi.
And I'm Jarad.
And we are the two gentlemen, coming to you in a totally new place. Jarad, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. We've never recorded here before.
It is a bit strange, isn't it?
And we're back face to face.
Yes. Happy about that. Happy about that one. It's been a long journey of being apart, but it's good to be face to face. How you going, mate? I want to touch on something. We've actually been away for a couple of weeks. Yeah, we haven't put something out, so that's to do. We had a little bit of an illness. You were a bit sick for a while there, and just a bit fatigued.
Yeah. So it was more real general fatigue feeling. Actually, I just my body just packed it in basically, and I couldn't do anything. I was feverish, and fortunately didn't have COVID, so that was okay. But I had about a week off work in the end. It was 6 days. And I'm feeling good now and actually 100%. So it's great to be here with Jarad.
That's good to hear. To be honest, I don't know if that happens to you very often, but sometimes it's good to you need to hit the reset button. So very happy that you're here and very happy that we can get going again.
Thanks for having me, Jarad.
Not a problem. Mate, I have a question or have something for you though. I've been thinking in this time we've had off, I'm a bit of a creature of habit and I tend to go to the same coffee shop every morning. And I don't know how to explain it, but actually, the people that are there, you become quite close to, but it's for 5 minutes of the day. Like by the time that you pay and they make you coffee and you walk out. But if I don't go there, I actually feel like I've missed something in the day. I feel like, I don't know if it's happy endorphins that you go to the same people and they recognize you. It's the old, what's the thing, the place where people know your name,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but, I think it got me thinking that, life is full of these moments. I make sure that I go to that same coffee shop and I guess it's part of my routine now, but you do have 5-minute friendships along the way and, little fleeting moments with people. I think that's a necessity in this busy life maybe now. I don't know. What do you think?
Firstly, I have to say, lucky you, that you feel that you've got that in your life.
Yeah.
That you say that they're everywhere in your life, that you've got these different connections, these little relationships that do brighten up your day.
Yep.
I can only imagine that there's people who don't have that. So I just want to say, lucky you. Good on you, Jarad.
No, I'm happy.
Now,
happy to have it.
You said that if you don't go there, you feel like you're missing out on something. I will go out there and say that I'm sure that your barista feels the same about you. I really do. I think that customers like you would really brighten up their day and they would be going, oh, Jarad didn't come in today. Hope he's okay.
Actually, it's funny you say the other morning, I didn't go in for 2 days because I didn't go into work one day and the other one I just couldn't get there. And they said, they noticed me not there. So it was actually, it's funny you say that. It was quite nice to hear them say, we missed you and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool that I guess I can have an effect on somebody that, would see a lot of people throughout their day. And it's a pretty cool, it's a pretty interesting profession. How they, would have to remember people's names and how they, because imagine the people that come through if you work in a city, if you're a barista in the city. But I think it's part of the deal. I think that's something that they would work on, I guess.
Yep.
To make the place feel homely.
Actually, my new manager, awesome dude, by the way, he used to own a coffee shop, a cafe in North Sydney, and unfortunately, COVID shut him down.
Yeah, right.
But he talks about his customers with such fondness, and he had a lot of high profile clients come through because it was in North Sydney, and he'd say, I know that guy, I know this guy, he used to come into my shop, and mate, you wouldn't believe it. But he's the kind of guy that you do make those connections with, and I'm sure his customers really miss him.
I would imagine so. It's a big change, and I think it's little glimpses of happiness throughout the day and throughout your week and throughout your life that, we've got, as I touched on before, we're busier these days. And I think, people, want to experience the happiness, but it's nice to do it in little snippets. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's a necessity. Again, it's such a positive sort of thing.
Yeah. You never know where you're going to get your friends from. We've talked before about how do you make friends as adults. Well, there you go.
Buy a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
I'd like to share a story actually with you about a friend of mine. We became friends because I went to her shop.
Yep.
So my family all shopped there. It was a health food shop. And we just got to know her. And my son put on this little... It was kind of like, imagine a little carnival at our place. All right. We live in a 2-bedroom unit, by the way, everybody. So you can imagine how...
ample space.
Yeah, what the scope of this carnival was. But anyway, he decided to have live music.
Yeah.
And she happens to be a musician.
Yeah, right.
And we asked her, hey, how would you feel about coming to this day? It was called Toby Celebration Day. It was to celebrate or to commemorate his dead mouse, Toby.
Right.
So you can see how legit this was, Jared. It was a very high-profile event.
Man.
I mean, now that the big day out's not on anymore, Toby Celebration Day took its place.
Yeah, how'd you turn those people away?
And she said, yep, I'll do anything for your family.
Wow.
This is before we really got to know her. We just
cool.
propositioned her with this, high-profile event, Toby Celebration Day. And
Come to this 2-bedroom unit.
I know. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's cool.
She just was all in, just like that. And that meant so much to me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I love her so much, because she would do anything for my family.
Well, you obviously had an effect on her too, like you said.
Well, I would do anything for her.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's how friendships start. You don't just walk in there and go, let's be friends and spend 8 hours with someone. You've got to do the, I'm not going to say hard yards, but you've got to take the small steps before you start. And then it's a big step like, hey, should I invite them here, or should they take them to a kid's party, or to to the pub, or to the whatever. But it's I don't know. I just find it pretty cool. It really cool.
Have you, I guess, gone any further than the 5 minutes with any of these people?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure as we wrap up, I'll probably think of something. But yeah, look, I think, and I don't want to sound, like a big head or something, but I think time is an issue.
Yeah.
Like I honestly do, and I think I've got enough things to keep me busy, unfortunately. Sure. And if there was more time in the day, imagine the things we could do and the friends we could have. But there's only a certain amount of time, and you've got to divide that up between everything that you have to do during the day. So,
yeah,
it's a shame, but I wouldn't be against. Like I said, that's how friendships start. You've just got to be willing and open to do it. But I suppose it's a confidence thing as well. You go to, like for me, let's just go back to, you go to someone's shop. That's their job to, make sure you're happy, to serve you, your food or whatever. So then to just jump in and go, oh, hey, let's be friends is a big jump, for me, that I wouldn't have the confidence probably to go ahead and do that. So if I make new friends, it's probably more through an equal status.
Sure, that makes sense. No, you're right.
Someone who comes along and plays basketball with me, or someone who comes along into the rugby club back in the day when I play footy, or maybe a work colleague, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because essentially these people are being paid to be nice to you.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do you know?
So
how authentic that is?
Yeah. And they might be just really good at their job.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go, oh, hey, you're really nice. Go away.
Dude, I've clocked off. Yeah. I hate being nice to you anymore.
Who are you? Just ruined. Yeah, never meet your hero then.
I guess that's a lot of people, though, just having that anxiety, I suppose, knowing whether or not people like you. I mean, sometimes I don't even know if my friends like me. Let alone strangers.
It is a thing, isn't it? And it's just what you're comfortable with, really. Like I know, watching my girls interact with their friends, and it's very raw because they're young, so they haven't got all this. I call them skills, but there's probably not skills, but haven't got all the. It's just very, very raw and very sort of. They call it as it is, you know, but you watch the two different girls, how they interact, and one particular takes a lot longer to settle into the situation, whereas the other one, is like bull out of a gate sort of thing, you know. So it's I'd imagine both of those styles would have their pros and cons, you know. Going through life, if you come into a room and then just explode into the room, you know, people are going to like it and people are going to find that offensive, but and other way, you know, you might come off as being too shy and you know, too reserved, and so it's and you overthink these things, and then that's where anxiety comes in, I guess.
Overthinking.
And when you got time to think, it's the worst.
I think that's a definition of anxiety, you know, living in your head. I know that's not the official textbook definition, but when you think, you know, when it's just all up here, and I'm pointing at my head, by the way, everybody listening at home or wherever you are, and, you know, your head's not in tune with your gut, I find that that's when the anxiety happens.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that. And, you know, for me, it's just being being unsure. So your head, that's right. Your gut instincts are telling you one thing, and then your head's going, no, I should be, you know, I should be fine here. I'm around friends, but then your gut, I'm in a situation where it's, you know, it's harmless, but your gut's sort of going, this is so nerve wracking, you know, like, and then, you know, and then vice versa. So, that's tough. I mean, we all suffer from anxiety in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's just how we deal with it.
Yeah. I just want to talk about another kind of 5-minute friend, and that's the kind of person you might see on the internet. For example, I started up my cryptocurrency. I've got people in the group.
Yep.
And, I consider them friends. You know, I call them friend when I see them. We don't even know each other's names, by the way, because it's all anonymous.
It's all anonymous, yeah.
They were like, hey, friend, how are you? And there was a guy that I haven't heard from for a while, and, you know, we were chatting for ages, and, you know, he's a really, really lovely guy. He's helped me a lot with things. And he kind of just disappeared. So I got worried.
Yep.
I was genuinely worried about him. And so, you know, I messaged him and didn't hear back. And then I just checked in with him today, and he got back to me and said, hey, you know, I've just been busy with this stuff. Haven't been, you know, into crypto at the moment. And I was like, oh, great. You know, he's alive. That's all I care about. And I wonder how many people out there in the world care about us that we don't even know about. For example, I drive home a particular way if I clock off at a certain time. And I'd always pass this guy driving up the road, up this hill on Warringah Road. And he wouldn't even know I exist. Like, I'm just driving past in a car, so you know, he's a pedestrian. He doesn't know, you know, that there's this guy looking at him. And I always noticed him, and I'd always like, oh, there's my friend. You know, in my head, you know, he was my friend. And now I don't see him anymore. And I actually think to myself, like, you know, I picture him. I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people out there that care about all of us just as much.
Sort of like the silent friendship.
Yeah. And look, it doesn't have a tangible effect on our lives. We can't actually go out and put this in the bank and go, yeah, people love me or anything like that. But you know what? I guess I just want to put it out there that people are inherently good.
Yeah.
And we are social creatures, and we do look out for one another.
Yeah.
Now, Jarad, you said something to me off air last week when Jarad actually came over to my house for a social visit, which was great. We watched a football game together, believe it or not.
I know.
It was great. But Jarad, you said something to me about homeless people, and you said these are people that society forgot. And it's a shame that happens, you know, because we are social creatures. We do care about one another, and it showed me how much you care about people.
Yeah,
you know, you've got no judgment when it comes to people who are less fortunate than us, and you're really, really good at putting things into perspective. So I want to share that as well with our audience. I'm sure our audience knows that already. But that meant a lot to me. Yeah. That, you know, one of my dearest friends actually feels that way about people, about other human beings, because, you know, I'll just quote a song, you know, it's so easy to laugh, it's so easy to hate, it takes strength to be gentle and kind.
Yeah, right.
And it does. Yeah. And people don't think of you being strong based on your kindness, do they? They think of, you know, your football prowess.
Yeah.
They think about all the guys you palmed off, that you ran over the top of to score all those tries that you scored. But
I felt bad about it.
No, you didn't. But it's your kindness that shows your strength. And, you know, I don't know how that's related to any of this, but to me, it shows that we are really social creatures.
Yeah.
And I love how connected you are with humanity and your own humanity.
Well, I think I've said this before, and it's not actually, for me, I just call it being human. You know, and
I love that.
And it's not, I don't have anything to add to it. It's just be human, be nice, treat people nice. Don't just treat. It's nothing new. This was told to me as a kid. Treat people as you would like to be treated. And that to me is just something that I just live by. It's not. I guess it's not something that I actively try and wake up and go, oh, I must treat people. It's just ingrained, I guess. And
it's your natural state.
Yeah. So being human to me is just, accepting people for, everyone has what's perceived as faults. Everyone has whatever's led that person to whatever situation they're in. They're still people and they're still human. So you don't judge. You try and help. If you can help. If they say no, then talk to them tomorrow. I don't know. It's just something that I try and live by. So yeah, that does come through sometimes, and when I do talk to people, and when I talk on this podcast. So it's nice that you notice that, I guess. So thank you.
No, well that's I choose carefully. Like you said, there's only so many hours in the day. I don't want to come out here to to someone's house and go through the tolls of paying a fortune to be with someone who I don't want to be with.
Yeah, that's right.
We're old enough to choose now. We're not in school where you're stuck in the same class as people and you just have to, get along.
Yeah, because we talk about the school friendships and it was like, that's right. You were there and you're able to have friends that were just given, make friends with the group of people that were there, and they turned up 5 days a week. It was a given. Now. You have to make that effort, and you can choose, and you don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. You don't have to turn up to the place where that person is. If you don't want to see them for 3 months, you don't. And if you do want to see them every day, well, then you can. So, but like you said, you've paid to come here, so that's actually feels nice.
And petrol's pretty expensive.
Yeah. You probably need to get yourself a loan.
And here's the thing: you can get your coffee from anywhere you want, and you're choosing that place.
Yeah.
So it highlights to me how a community is built. We think of community as certain organised groups, but there's so much, I guess, ad hoc community building out there.
Yeah.
And it is these little connections, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, catching the bus with the same people, for example.
I know, speaking to people, and I won't mention them because I haven't asked their permission, but speaking to people who have caught the bus, friends of mine, and they've said things like, they make friends with the people on the same bus or the same train or the same, but that friendship kind of is a 5-minute friendship or is a 10 or however long the train ride takes, but they don't see them outside.
Yep.
You only see them with their briefcase or with their laptop and dressed to go to work or whatever it might be. And, but they talk about them.
Yeah.
They're like, I was talking to this person today and, they have this opinion and they have that opinion. And so that's a friendship to me.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of touched on this before where, if that situation, if they stop catching that bus, that person would be, oh, where's so-and-so?
Yeah.
Or if they moved away, it's just, I think the connection, like you said, the connection between human beings is a necessity. And I think we find that in places where we can, where we do our normal, our normal daily routine. Getting coffee, catching a bus, walking to work, in the lift at work, that 10-second friendship.
Yeah, the lift. Yeah.
I always say, actually, it's funny. I don't know why I do this. It's just a little thing of mine, but I think it's if I'm in the lift with one other person. So if I'm in the lift with 2 or 3, I don't really do the no eye contact. I don't know why. You just turn into this weird shy person, but they're doing the same. So I don't know what it is. But if there's one person and if we don't make eye contact or do anything, but as I leave, because I'm usually the first to leave because I'm on the lower floor, I will say, have a good day, and they're like, me too. It's funny. I don't know why I do it. It's just a little thing now.
Yeah.
It's more of a,
nice.
But, isn't it funny how you just turn into this, I don't know, you just turned into this shy kid in the lift, no eye contact, nothing, I don't know. I mean, that's me, maybe.
Well, look, the truth is we all feel the same.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So,
I think it's enclosed space, maybe.
well, if you're feeling shy, the other guy is too.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. And quite often we don't think, we think we're the only ones that feel like that. No, everyone feels like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I heard, what did I, just go into the list. I remember how to make, it was some stupid thing. I don't know why it stuck in my head, but to walk into a lift and face the back of the lift.
Yeah.
And then and watch people uncomfortable as you do it. And I think it's true, you know, like if you did that, people would just be like, turning around, like fiddling and looking at the floor. You know, anyway, I don't know why that stuck in my head. I think I heard that like 20 years ago. Thought it'd be like a Jackass movie or something. You know?
Well, eye contact is, I guess, the beginning of a relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, in that 10 seconds in the lift, maybe it is confronting to meet a person in a way.
Yeah.
So what's the level of commitment there for 10 seconds? So you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. Like, have I got something in my face? What is it? So, okay. So we just give each other the nod and then we've got to break eye contact. Yeah. We just kept looking at each other. That would be weird, right?
And then the lift breaks down. I was in a lift once when it broke down.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes.
Oh,
and it wasn't cool. But anyway, sorry. I just had a post-traumatic stress talking about lifts. But yeah.
I want to tell you a story, actually. And this is really awful. You know, when I lived in Blacktown, sometimes if I was lazy, instead of walking to the station, I'd catch the bus. And I used to see this girl, or a woman, I should say, and I knew one of her sisters, she had twin sisters, and they were in my sister's year, so I knew who she was. I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so.
Yeah.
And she died in the Bali bombings.
Oh.
Yeah. So, you know, I'd catch the bus and I'd be like, oh, my God, like, you know, I'll never see her again. And
it just trigger,
Yeah, well, you don't want to make it about me. Sorry,
no.
Didn't come across as that, but it's, you know, when tragedies like that happen, it's like an actual person is lost from the world.
And it's a person that you, like, personally knew, I guess, or knew exist. That sounds bad, but it's you know, then it makes you realise that tragedy that happened. You know, we all realise that people are lost, but it's a real for you. It's a little bit more real for you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one less person on the bus, and it's quite sad. You know, sad doesn't do it justice. But, you know what I mean?
And look, people can be heartless about it and say, oh, look, you know, people die every day. It's just another person. But, you know, it's the circumstances in which we lose people that's so, you know, disheartening to me. And, you know, it breaks my heart to think that, you know, humanity does that sort of thing. You look at, you know, just the loss of life going on at the moment.
Yeah.
In you know, Ukraine, it's awful. Sorry, I didn't mean to take it that way. But, you know, people do notice you, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. People, you know, there's someone out there that cares about you. For sure.
Yeah, and that's a thought I haven't really put in my head, but now that you've mentioned it, the whole, you know, the fact that, I do, you know, people like to people watch.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, if you, like, I used to love going to the airport. Just sitting there and watch people. But so people might watch your route, like me going to the coffee shop every day. At a certain time, there might be somebody sitting there going, "Oh, there's an old mate going to get his coffee." Yeah. I have no idea, you know, and so it's, I suppose, if I didn't turn up, maybe that person's like, "Oh, where is he?" It's a pretty cool thought, I guess. It, you know, people are about sort of, you know, essentially caring about you to some degree. You know, it doesn't have to be caring about you so much that you know, it's just a little thought they're thinking of you, I guess. So that's cool.
Yeah, I love the idea that strangers are out there looking out for each other. You know, we'd all have each other's backs if we knew that there was something going on in each other's lives. My former hairdresser, actually, I hadn't gone to her for ages, and her shop closed down. I was like, oh, okay, I wonder what happened there. So Erica looked it up because she went there too, and this woman who's our age died of cancer last December. I had no idea. Yeah. And, you know, there was a fundraiser online for her and, you know, I didn't even know. Yeah. And, you know, I really liked her as a person. You know, she was really good. My clients went to see her too and she was really good to them. And,
I think it's just a whole that, like, that person was a part of your life, you know, in
some way.
In some way, you know, and that, you know, you liked the fact that you went to that. Like, I know that you went to that sort of, that place to get your hair done or whatever, your hair cut. But that person was part of that experience, and yeah, it's quite, sad if that person obviously has passed away, and then you've got, on a lesser scale, much lesser scale, you've got, when the shop closes, oh, where are they gone, or what are they doing, or and you hear about people, having to find a new place to get their hair done, or it's the biggest deal, but they're looking for that connection.
Yeah,
there's beauty salons and hairdressers and coffee shops and on every corner. It's exaggerating, but you can find one within walking distance or within 5-minute drive, but in Sydney. But so why are we so concerned if our coffee shop closes? Oh, I can just get coffee. I can get coffee from across the road from my house, but I choose to drive to another place, or people drive to different suburbs where they grew up to get their hair done. That's where they so they call that hairdresser a friend. And I know my wife will come home and talk about the person that did her hair or whatever she needed to do. Talk about her as a friend.
Yeah,
so
that's really nice.
That's pretty cool. That's a 5-minute friend to a certain degree. 35 minutes, depending on your hair. For me, 5 minutes. But well, I do my own hair, so I'm friends with that guy. But yeah, no, I think. Look, I think it's a necessity in life. Talking through this now, that you miss the people that you've now lost, but you had no real connection other than the fact that. Well, actually, sorry, I take that back. It was a real connection. You had no. They didn't come to your house, or they didn't. But you miss those people, right? And there's a lot of. So I think it's a necessity in life that you need these little friendships and little wins and little happy moments, because. Let's be honest. It's it's what makes us human.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's just this whole big web of connection, and that's what life is, and that's what I'm learning so much now as I get older. That people really need that, and once it's not there, that's when people start to get certain illnesses and I suppose die. Really, they say that people who are married live longer because they've got that partner. At least they've got someone to connect with.
Yeah.
But, I don't think you have to be married to have that health outcome. I think you can, if you've got a lot of meaningful connections around you.
Yeah.
And it just shows how powerful individuals are. If you can give someone a kind ear, if you can make someone feel heard, you can give them that attention, that undivided attention, just a fleeting moment.
Can make their day.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, someone who doesn't expect it. For example, Erica was on the phone to the e-toll people because our e-tag broke.
Yeah, right.
And Erica was so polite, and by the end of the conversation, Erica was like, "Oh, thank you so much. You've been so helpful." And the lady's like, "Oh, it was a pleasure talking to you." And I just thought, wow, this lady, she probably gets abused on the phone, and now she's got someone treating her so nicely.
Yeah.
That, Erica's used her powers for good.
Yep. And
makes someone feel good.
It reminds me of, I got the phone call after getting COVID. I got the phone call from health to ask a few little questions and to see if I was okay. Ask if it was a good sort of, and he's like, "Oh, look, this phone call is going to take 7 to 8 minutes." And I'm like, "Mate, I'm in isolation. I got nowhere to go. Like, you can take 80 minutes. I don't care." And he laughed. And then I was sort of just talking, I was just being myself, I wasn't, and he was quite robotic. But then he'd break in from the robotic. I'd say something and he'd laugh, and then I said something about my wife, and he's like, "Oh yeah, aren't they great?" The wife, he sort of, and I think he was abused a lot. I think in his phone calls, he's been abused a lot.
Yeah,
because touchy subject. People have all got their opinions on it, and and he was the same. Like, he was like, "Oh, thanks so much. It was really good talking to you." And at the end, I said, "This took 12 minutes. I hope you don't get in trouble." But yeah, no, it was just reminding me. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to make someone's day a little bit better, but that made my day better because I was in isolation and at home I was happy to talk to another human.
And it was such a simple power that you exercised, wasn't it? You didn't use any strength or anything, just being human, as you put it.
Yeah.
Forming connections wherever you go. Good on you, Jarad.
Thank you.
That's great. And look, hopefully with this podcast we've connected with people.
Yep.
thank you to all the people who've contacted us and told us that you enjoy it.
Yeah.
All the ones who've told us that you hate it.
I miss those messages. So.
But no, thank you so much for connecting with us. We've loved connecting with you.
Yeah.
If you can, please subscribe, follow, like us, do all that sort of stuff on the socials, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever else we've got, really. I don't know.
Instagram.
Yeah. But we just want you to know how much we appreciate your support and the connection. So please keep supporting us. We want to keep doing this for as long as possible. I definitely want to hit 100 episodes, Jarad. So
we've got a goal. We've got a goal.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Definitely got a goal. Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
See you later.